Good morning and happy new month of December. I wanted to say November. Where is this month running to? So scary, making us older every day. Okay, welcome. How are you? It's good we have seen the last month of this year. I told you that by the special grace of God, those of us that saw the beginning of this year will see the end. Don't worry, don't tell me we still have 31 days to go. Don't worry. Just believe you will make it, and then we'll see other years that are coming. Welcome. My name is Sijama. It is time to bring you press review. Stand by now. Okay, welcome again. Joining me this morning to look at the papers is Mazi Oluebube Ngige. Mazi Oluebube, good morning to you.
Good morning. You're looking all beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to say Ututu. I usually have you on Wednesdays.
Well, it's always a lingua franca every other day, apart from Wednesday.
Okay.
And I'm brilliant. Join us. Let us hack into the what's trending.
Very important. Okay, as usual, we'll begin from our website this morning, www.absradiotv.com. There's so many stories trending in the website, but let's just look at one or two of them while you go there and check it out, okay? All right. Anambra State government allows UNICEF for post-flood interventions in 3 local government councils. And then Anambra State government trains 500 youths in vocational skills. Okay, vocational skills. And then Anambra State government enrolls 200 persons living with HIV into state health insurance scheme. Lastly, from here, Anambra State government concludes recruitment of 500 teachers.
5,000.
5,000 teachers, please. Wow, this is good. Long-awaited recruitment is out now, and I hope this one pulls through. As usual. Okay, this one is also 5,000 youth vocational skill. Why am I calling 500 5,000? Okay, I'm very poor in mathematics, I tell you. Olebe. It was Maths 101 that I had for carryover for 3 years in the university. And when I cleared it in my 3rd year, it was a celebration.
Yeah, here we're outside mathematics world, doing what we know best.
I know.
Well, let's dive into it.
Okay.
Anambra State government has done noble. You know, when you talk about the future of the country and also Anambra State, you talk about youth. And then when you talk about youth, you talk about the navigation from our traditional educational system, which is at least adding up a skill to what you know how to do, or maybe your certification or your degree. We see that the trending, the dynamics in the economic world and innovations today is not just about the degree you hold, but then what you're able to put to the table. And then companies and businesses, even startups and everything, SMEs and MSMEs, every other person wants what you know how to do. So the government has done noble by maybe looking into that aspect and encouraging youths and other young persons to also add skills. 5,000 is a huge number.
It is.
And imagine the statistics, okay, maybe judging from the TEF program, Tony Elumelu Foundation, when they train about a certain number of persons and then they empower them. And then if those people are empowered financially to start a business, they have the potential, statistics have proven that they can employ about 1, 2, 3 persons. Now, when a person out of 5,000 employs 3 persons each, multiply it.
That's 5,000 times 3.
So you now see the power of empowering someone to start up a business. So you now see that SMEs are more like at the fabrics, at the fundamental level of empowerment and building businesses and in terms of job creation. So Anambra State government has done well, and then they should go ahead to not only empower them but also create an evaluation framework.
Thank you.
To assist them, because mentorship starts after you empower somebody. It doesn't even start, the moment you're trying to empower somebody, you're training the person, you're building the person's capacity. But when you've empowered the person, what you're now doing from that moment is what I can call mentorship, because it continues as the business tries to grow. See lots of, yes, ups and downs, not everybody's experience with the economic trend of Nigeria. And also, I want to also talk about the 5,000 recruitments, the staff. We understand that not just the numbers, but qualifications. The quality of education now that we get is not even complementing the trend now. You see somebody who goes to school come out, the areas the person measured is not actually the areas of practice. So you now see that the aim thing is engaging teachers who understand the dynamics, people who measure, people who qualify to be able to guide students in certain areas of studies, even at the core levels of education, which is the primary, post-primary, the secondary, and all of that, because these are the very, very important levels of anybody in Nigeria to start for starters. So you now see that federal Anambra State government, Professor Charles Soludo, amidst every other thing, you can give it to him. He understands education, maybe because he's a prof.
Oh, yes.
But I also encourage him to do more than that, looking at the structures and what we have in place, to begin to look at the structural principles of education in Anambra State, to begin to revamp and innovate
and
a number of things. And
also make a case for training and retraining.
Yes. Also the HIV. One thing I've seen is that UNICEF and some other intervention programs, okay, not just HIV, I'm talking about the intervention programs for the flood victims. For the flood victims, Anambra State government, the UNICEF intervention. Okay. Yeah, it's important for us to understand that it's not just intervention of maybe one or two things. It should be a long-lasting principle or an ideology that should be drawn into the system, because this is something that occurs regular. And these areas that are affected are what I call the food base of the state. So even if assistances are given, it should be sustainable. It should be something that will at least be impacting. You don't just give somebody 2,000 and then say you have empowered them. Give them something, because they depend so much. They've lost their farm input. They've lost a lot of things, and they don't know where to begin. So it is important that government have now started to partner with international development partners. They should do more, and also make it a long-lasting assistance that will, revamp our food basins and food areas. We're talking about the Anambra North Senatorial Zone, to be particular. Yeah. Oh yeah, the food basket.
Okay, let's move on now. Let's look at the papers. The New National Star is our first paper this morning, and the banner headline there says state governors responsible for rising poverty. This one is coming from the federal government. State governors responsible for rising poverty. Let's look at the right at this. Rescues resources channeled to projects with no direct effects on citizens. Okay, we'll continue. APC will not last beyond 2023. Atiku is saying this. No plan to hike fuel price. No plan to hike fuel price. NMDP RA says that. CBN issues new guidelines for banking license. And up there, that's on top of the net template, House of Reps to probe attacks on INEC assets. When would that happen? Before or after the election? Okay, we get to know. Punch is our next paper. No plan. Fuel scarcity. No plan. No planned price hike, says federal government. Accused spread. Okay. The riders. There will be no fuel price hike during the Yule-tide period, says government. And the DPRA assures motorists current stock can last for 34 days. Okay, that's lasting to January. The government can't continue subsidy amid diversion. This one is coming from NNPC. Okay, and other stories from the Punch. INEC gears up for elections in Northeast, deploys beavers. Government pays ASU November salary, withholds arrears. Federal government blames government for rising poverty. Edo, Akwa Ibom, Diffa. Okay. And then let's also look at the next paper before we start talking. The next paper here is the Daily Independent. Federal government blames governors for high poverty rate in Nigeria is the banner headline there. It says they build needless infrastructure at the detriment of masses. Okay, other stories. Fake, OK's compulsory teaching of mother tongue in primary schools. Buhari wasted Nigeria 7.5 years, article laments. Nigeria's free trade zones attract investment worth over $30 billion. Students who criticize Aisha Buhari sent to prison. This is getting serious. Embed to increase power supply to 5,500 megawatts in 2023. And down here I have INEC debunks claims that the electorate can vote without PVCs. With a rider there, enlist monarchs, security agencies, communities to protect facilities. Okay, let's get back to the first story that we have here, which is from the National Star. The governors being responsible for the rising poverty in the country. And this one is coming from the federal government. Is it just the governor? What about the federal government?
Well, I wouldn't want to maybe join issues, but to a layman, you want to look at the factors that maybe contribute to poverty. One is insecurity. Two is poor infrastructure. Three, maybe bad policy. And then other ones goes on, and then school, every other thing may fall under infrastructure and policy. Then maybe businesses who are not empowered may be under policy, infrastructure, all those stuff. But then, if you look at security, the security structure, architecture of Nigeria, on whose table is it? It's on the table of the federal government. So, if state government, for example, empowers 20 million farmers to go into the farm, and then they are not able to control the state police that safeguards these farmers, you see that before you get to the federal government to issue certain orders, the evil may have been done, and those farmers may have lost their harvest. That's insecurity. Two, when you talk about policies, you look at how the national treasure is shared. Well, I can take a cue from Nyesom Wike when he said, one of the days he was commissioning his numerous projects, he said, in as much as you criticize the federal government, you give it to Buhari that over the period of time, monies that have not been paid, I think it's about 13% or something, I don't know whether it's at 3%.
The derivation?
For derivation, yes. From the 90s or something, that Buhari paid them. And that is how he is able to do certain projects in the state. And then he emphasized on the need for governors to do projects that are benefiting to their citizens that elected them into offices. So to that extent, I can now say that certain monies that are sent to states, outside the Oyo states now.
And that's what I want to say. It's not all the states that
I know, outside the Oyo states now. It's only Wike that accepted the fact, that confirmed the fact that certain monies was paid extra to them. But then other states that receive these derivations, what are they doing with it? Are they doing projects that will benefit for example, if you come to an area, a group of people or maybe a community that's living closer to a river and you're doing borehole for them, is that needed? It may not be needed. You know, impactful projects.
If the river is not good for consumption.
Well, we can argue to that extent, but the point I'm trying to drive home here is what I call open government partnership. You know, when you have an idea as a government agency and you want to understand the needs of the people, and then you're channeling your projects and you're drawing your budget based on the needs of the people, not what you think.
So that's why we give Anambra State kudos for doing this choose your project initiative. Well, so you choose, you know what you need.
We'll keep measuring it with indices that alleviates poverty. But then, to this extent, I might blame the state governments for maybe not doing projects that may have created jobs for people, at state level. You know, what we see now that is very, very unique, that is unique, or maybe we can attach it to every government in Nigeria in terms of state government, is that they create these portfolios with their government, special advisors, senior special, all those business, all those offices that are not doing, adding anything to the economy, but waste. They employ 5,000, 10,000. Before you know it, the national resources are going into paying salaries. So if these monies are not channeled to productivity, I think that is where the claims of the federal government becomes valid.
Becomes valid. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. No plan to hike fuel price.
Well, looking at that, it doesn't necessarily have to happen because
but the prices are going up.
From 145 it was, I think is now 60% increase from that one to about 240.
So who is hiking it?
So at the end of the day, the price has already been hiked. So saying that you're not going to hike price in the ULA2 season doesn't make any difference because we have seen the height of it. If you can't wake up to say fuel is 300 today, you put the whole country in chaos. And also to see what NNPC just said, that they don't have, there shouldn't be any plan to continue with subsidy if the returns are not there and all of those long talks. And you see what CBN governor said the other day, that the remittances from NNPC has dropped to zero. So you know, the funny thing becomes that, wow, the revenue that is coming from oil, an oil producing nation, goes back to paying subsidy. So now oil has become a private business that is used to maybe fill up the pockets of a certain sector. So now, if we don't talk about revamping or reviving our local domestic refineries, we might just be running around. It doesn't matter the amount of subsidies you pay. The important thing is that Nigerians are not having it any better. There is no amount you call now that will kill anybody because they've seen the worst of it. All right? So that's one apart. Well, I wanted to maybe talk about the politics that is playing now with Atiku and all of those, saying APC, their last will be 2023. Well, it's up to the electorates to choose because, somebody was saying, and this is what we must pay attention to, Northerners in this election will vote Southerners. That's a certainty. Southerners will vote for Northerners. Muslims will vote for Christians. Christians will vote for Muslims. But the important thing is, how much are the electorates connecting with the facts on ground, and how much are the political parties doing in terms of education? Because in as much as we have rallied, I remembered from the point of power shift to the level of religious cards, Muslim, Christian, Muslim, and all of those. Then we are no longer there now. It's now about whose turn. You see, from the politics of Nigeria has become very funny. And then the only thing we can do is to pray and hope things changes. But as far as I know, the statistics and the indices are showing that even the people who registered massively in the Southeast, many of them are not seeing their information on the INEC database. And then some who never existed, baby faces we are seeing, are recorded as though they were born in 1980s, 1990s. 70s. And they are all from the north. And some from the stooges of APC states. So in as much as we are looking at the validity or the transparency in the INEC process, we must be very circumspect in terms of holding leaders to account. Immediately, I saw when, which I think it was the House, was talking about probing the destruction of INEC facilities. You see, we are known to, to make long, empty statements that doesn't have any actions married to it. So it's time that we start salvaging our country by taking actions when it's necessary. This is no longer about, you recall the period when you have insecurity high in Abuja. Every other person, lawmakers, everybody was running helter-skelter because it came into their domain. But when it's not affecting them, they don't care.
Okay, we may need to join that story with this other one that INEC debunks claims that electorates can vote without PVCs. With the recent burning down of INEC offices, although the umpire has promised that they're going to reprint everything, replace everything that is burnt down. But the fact remains that we'll have very few months to do this, and there are other things to be done within that period of time. Okay, so where is this news of people voting without PVC comes up?
The problem in Nigeria is that they make things look so big that it might look impossible to achieve. One would, myself, I would just think that PVC should have been a continuous process. Anybody can register PVCs anytime they want.
But not in Nigeria.
You understand?
But in our present circumstances.
Certainly not in Nigeria. But in the present circumstances, there are things that can be done. For example, when you fully move into an online system of voting, no amount of physical damage can affect your infrastructure. That's the truth of the matter, that these guys that think they know what they are doing are just there ignorantly exhibiting.
Is it ignorance or they're avoiding it because...
Yes, they're avoiding it because they are creating loopholes, they are creating cases where there can be illegal influx of, in terms of inflation of election numbers. So they're just creating loopholes. You see, corruption is woven in the fabrics of certain people who are in government.
Even with all the promises that INEC...
So at the end of the day, yes, if you're talking about beavers, it should be an electronic system. No matter the physical, all you can replace is your physical beavers machines that were burnt. But the infrastructure itself, in terms of data, cannot be affected. Why not send this information back to the original owners? People who have smartphones can have their digital ID. What happened to that? Innovation is not far-fetched. These guys just choose to hold Nigeria to ransom and do with it what they want, thinking that young people are daft. But the truth is that we are not. And the number of us who are even closer to them understand so. That is why you now see a lot of people in the north sounding different from the traditional bandwagon and way of election. So that is just the innovation we'll be seeing in 2023, not just about the end of APC like Atiku is claiming. Okay. It has to touch every facet of leadership in Nigeria.
Talking about INEC and the election of 2023, do you trust INEC to give us a credible election in 2023?
Well, as Jewish as I am, my Bible Torah tells me that woe betide any man that trusts in man. I don't really trust anybody. But the reason we have laws is to check trust. So if you ask me, I'm going to answer you based on the statistics I'm saying. If INEC cannot keep to its promise and its mandate of moving or of ensuring a free and fair election by, number one, registering as many voters as possible, we see that it didn't happen. We saw what happened with some of the states where the presidential candidates came from, and they seem to have more power. You see how they deployed thugs to destroy registration centers. So now, if they cannot do it, and also if they allowed influx of fake, non-existent names, it has a lot to do with their integrity. So now, when you're talking about this present institution of burning and all of that, and you're telling me it's affecting the electronic registration that was done, is it the servers that were burnt? Is it the cloud that were burnt? So at the end of the day, what we need to do, since you find out that it's difficult for you to disseminate these cards, why not send a digital version of it to anybody that has smartphones, can claim it? Just like you have NIMC mobile app. Anybody can have their PVC app to validate their distance. And then come election day, through beavers and the beaver machine and everything, V numbers can be validated, and then they vote and go. So at the end of the day, this point speaks to lack of trust, lack of capacity, maybe competence, I don't know. But trust, I don't.
With all this knowledge that abounds, you can't be talking of incompetency now. But let's go. I think it's all about...
Sadly, we are here.
It's all about underground plans to make sure that we don't get exactly what we bargained for. But we must continue. The Daily Sun is our next paper this morning. Beside the net template, I have this story. Ohanaeze insists on P2B flares insecurity in Southeast. And then other stories, most especially the banner headline, is the same thing. Okay, no, this one is different from what we have seen before. Governors have no power to stop rallies of opponents. That's coming from IGP. Governors have no power to stop rallies of opponents. IGP. With a writer there, Uzodimma Anyim orders list impediments, no free fair election. Okay, and down here I have this one. Federal government slams governors neglecting fight against poverty, but preferring to build flyovers, airports instead. Wow. Okay. NNPC blames fuel scarcity on bad roads. Repairs in Lagos. Oil marketers disagree. NNPC blames fuel scarcity on bad roads and then repairs in Lagos. Oil marketers disagree. Abdulrazak Bello Bagudu Ibazo presents 189.4 billion naira, 172 billion naira, 167 billion naira, 157.5 billion naira budget proposals. Okay, INEC counts losses from incessant attacks gives way out. Okay, we may need to read up that to know exactly what we'll do to avert these attacks. 2023, Owerri leaders back Uzodinma for second term, passed votes of confidence in his administration. Okay, let's look at another paper now. And another paper that we're going to look at is the This Day newspaper. Sanwo-Olu, I'm seeking re-election on success of my first term, is the banner headline there. But on top of the net template, federal government blames governors for level of hardship in the country. The no PVC, no voting in 2023 election, INEC declares. No PVC, no voting. So what will happen to all these people that their PVCs are being carried away to some other places, or those that are being burnt, or those that you have refused to share the PVCs? I wonder what's going on. Osun Assembly urges Adeleke to allow status quo on local governments. 70th induction ceremony of ICANN. Okay, and a whole lot of stories coming from This Day newspaper. The Nation newspaper, minister stays to blame for rising poverty. This one is trending in all the papers. Okay, and very soon we'll start hearing their replies. That's the state governor's reply. Schools to adopt mother tongue as medium of instruction. Okay. INEC PVC mandatory for voting in 2023 general elections. We are looking at stories that are coming from the Nation newspaper. Shomole PDP, a house divided against itself. Wike takes no governor over derivation payments. Okay, and that's all we'll have for you from the Nation's newspaper. Guardian newspaper, NGF MUM, as federal government shifts blame for high poverty to governors. Okay, we have seen that story. And let's look at the Daily Trust, which is our last paper this morning. Election violence claims 1,525 lives in 25 years. It has some riders below it. Boko Haram, IPOB bandits, biggest threat to 2023 polls reports. Politicians, SSAs, post risks for elections, analysts. Okay, PDP, APC, Bika over arraignment of ex-minister Biblis. Pupils to be taught in mother tongue. Federal government students who criticize Aisha Buhari remanded in prison. CUP demands his unconditional release. Okay, CUPP, sorry, I don't know why I was called that in CUP. Okay, governors abandoning rural areas, building needless flyovers, airports, federal government. We have seen all this one, so let's get back to talking again. Oh, well, you know this program is interactive, so wherever you're watching us from, you can call in and make your contribution. The phone number is on your screen. Make a contribution. Just tell us how you feel about what we're doing. Okay. Yeah.
Well, let me talk about the Ohaneze insisting
coming
on
from the Daily Sun.
Well, Ohaneze just woke up, and it's a poor thing to say. But then, unfortunately, their claims, whether they say it or not, P2B is no longer an ethnic candidate. They might as well rest their case. The position of young people, when you look at certain things that are happening, and then you see elders not talking or maybe making constructive arguments, is something that is very, very... if they should start now to play an ethnic card is an Igbo turn or whatever, I don't think I will identify myself.
I don't even think it's too good for the candidates. That's,
yes, so they should at the moment rest, because more of the supporters are even in the north. So at the end of the day, Ohanese's claim, whether they say it or not, came out a little late, and then they should just mute and maybe support practically, not just verbally. All right, so that is all I have to say about that. Then
right. The governor's not having power to stop rallies of opponents coming from IGP.
What we see here is that that is one of the fears of some certain persons when you raise issues of state policing. They will say that having state policing in the hands of governors who doesn't understand democracy is just like handing them a tool to oppress their opponents. So at the end of the day, you see what is happening. When you see an opponent who may have maybe acceptance seamlessly or allegedly, you've already assumed under your mind, in your mind, that this person have maybe rallies more numbers. And then you take out stringent executive orders, like take permission 100 hours before your election.
Okay, let's use Wike of Rivers State as an example now.
So, Wike recently started having open minds with every other different parties. Maybe because of what is fueling in his party. But then, it's very important for us to understand that the elections and democracy we seek in Nigeria is different from the ones we have on papers. And it's not, it baffles me to say that, in as much as we elect people, we don't look at their credibility in terms of understanding what is it that is available in terms of politics in every other country, and then maybe politics in Nigeria, in Africa at large. So at the end of the day, you see people playing the partisan politics at every level. At the national, you talk about ethnicity. At the state, it may break down to religion. It may break down now to the kind of church one or two persons goes, and then you unleash your political anarchy on your opponent. It doesn't make sense. And also, let the Federal Executive Council, maybe if they should do a bill, if they should recommend a bill to the House or a representative, let there be a bill that seeks to hold any sitting governor accountable whenever an opponent suffers a security loss or attack
or threat from the state government.
It makes the whole thing transparent. We saw what happened in US when, I've forgotten the name now, somebody came up and was speaking against Obama. I suppose, okay, not really Obama. I think it was a political opponent, and the person was maybe naming and shaming the candidate. It was a candidate of, I think he's a Democrat or something, and then the candidate in question shunned the spokesperson. I said, my opponent is a very good man. He has the best interest of the nation at heart.
Okay.
Because I'm the opponent doesn't necessarily mean I should join and name and shame anybody.
All right, we are running out of time. In just maybe 60 seconds or thereabouts, let's look at this story. A student who criticized Aisha Buhari remanded in prison. Just yesterday we saw that of the woman leader of Labour Party in Kaduna State killed by gunmen, and then this other young man that is that said that he criticized the president's wife being remanded in prison. Is this level of intolerance in politics, where is it taking us to?
I don't even think it's intolerance.
So what's going on?
I think it's political abuse of power. Abuse of power is different from intolerance. Intolerance means you're giving everybody level, you're trying to allow somebody to maybe exercise the right he or she doesn't have, but because you're maybe you have the tolerance and you're letting them be. No. In Nigeria, everybody have right to express their minds. And if you feel offended, you go to the court of law. But we have seen that this thing doesn't work. A certain persons maybe seem to be above the law. And then you see them, when they act and when they behave, when they exhibit certain attributes, you begin to imagine and think to yourself, is this really this person we've known over the years? Now, nobody has said, even in the House, nobody has said anything. Even in the House of Assembly, House of President. And these guys don't understanding the fact that executive arm of government is the least. When you talk about the lawmakers, the judiciary, you now see the executive. These guys, what are they doing?
But it does appear that the people wielding the power over the legislature and the judiciary.
Simply because there's no judicial independence in the country called Nigeria.
And no functional institution.
So at the end of the day, it calls for, this guy should be released. But the truth is that not only him, but every other person who have been held prisoner of conscience, political prisoners, they should be released.
They should be
People
released.
should have ability to voice out their opinion and position. If you have
in a democratic
the law provides
dispensation.
the law provides that if you feel defamed, you should go to the law court and let the person defend themselves. You see, and the likes, even this comes to mind. The woman that was burnt, I think it was in Kogi, one time ago. It was a woman leader, burnt alive. You see, a number of things happening, especially to women. Women have a right to express their political will and power. It mustn't, they shouldn't be shunned. I don't think any woman deserves to be handled the way they are handled in Africa. So we should, at this moment, rise. The men who understand what it is, the life of women and the impact they can put in the economy. You see how they are pushing. But at the end of the day, one question comes to mind. Are we really going to continue like this? 2023 will decide.
All right. Thank you very much. 2023 will decide, and I have to give it to you that this is a he for she. I like it when men fight for women. Thank you very much, Mazi Oluebube Ngige, for making it happen this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a privilege.
Thank you very much.
Anambra State, stay safe.
All right. Okay, in a very short while, we'll take you over to our discussion table for today is 1st December, and it's World AIDS Day. So we're going to do it with the people that are organizing programs for the event. Okay? My name is Sijama. Do stand by.